Charlie Hudson is back, but not the way we expected. The Hudson and Rex Season 8 Episode 1 trailer just dropped, and everything we feared and hoped is starting to unravel. We watched him fall, vanish into the water, and somehow even without a body. The show made us believe he was gone for good. But now all the clues point to one thing. Charlie didn't die. And Season 8 isn't just about finding him, it's about what he becomes after everything he's been through. You're not ready for what's coming. If you thought the Season 7 finale was emotional, strap in, because Season 8 is rewriting everything we thought we knew. Charlie Hudson's disappearance wasn't just a twist to end a season. It was the beginning of a deeper mystery, one that's about to shake up every relationship in the show. He got shot, fell into the water, and disappeared without a trace, but now we're finally getting some answers. The trailer gives us flashes, but not clarity. We see movement, shadows, voices we can't quite place, and then one moment, one breath. One look in Rex's eyes and we know Charlie is alive. But where he's been, what he's been through, and who he is, now that's the real story. Let's back up. Mark told us Charlie went after his brother Jack, who had gotten mixed up with a woman named Maria, someone with deep ties to a cartel. That alone should have been a red flag. This wasn't a search and rescue mission. This was Charlie walking into the lion's den. When Jack and Maria got ambushed, Charlie didn't run. He did what he always does. Jumped in head first, trying to save everyone, and for that he got shot, fell into the water, and was never seen. Again, that's how they left us. No goodbye, no closure. Just the gut punch of losing the heart of the team. But you know what made it worse? No one could give us a straight answer. No body. No final confirmation. Just guesses and grief. The police assumed the worst. Sarah was shattered. Rex, don't even get me started. He waited by the door like Charlie might walk in at any second. It was brutal, but deep down fans didn't buy it. We know this show too well, and we know Charlie too well. He's not the kind of man who dies quietly. If he's alive, he's fighting. That's who he is. And now, in Season 8, Episode 1, it looks like that fight is coming to the surface. The trailer teases us with just enough to break our hearts all over again, flashes of someone in recovery. Memories flashing back and a familiar voice saying his name. There's no dramatic reveal, no big spotlight, just moments. And that's what makes it more powerful. Because the mystery now isn't, is Charlie dead? It's, what did Charlie survive? Vev got questions. And the trailer knows it. Where has he been all this time? Was he hiding? Captive? Injured? And the darkest theory, did he lose himself completely? Imagine Charlie waking up in some hospital, far from home, with no memory of who he is. Imagine him trying to piece his life back together while the people who love him are mourning him. It's the kind of storyline that hurts in all the right ways, because it means when he comes back, it won't just be a reunion. It'll be a reckoning. And while all this is happening, life hasn't stopped back home. Sarah tried to hold it together. She took time off, tried to grieve, tried to breathe. And then there's Mark, who stepped up, helped Rex. Even tried to carry on the work, but nothing felt right. Because no matter how good Mark is, he's not Charlie. He never was, and he never will be. And you can feel that weight on every scene, every choice, every moment leading into Season 8. That this isn't just a new chapter, it's a reset. A reset of the team, of the relationships, and of the man at the center of it all. Hudson's return might bring relief, but it's not going to be clean. There's trauma, there's damage, there are secrets, and the trailer is begging us to ask, what happens when the man you lost isn't the same man who comes back? Because, let's be honest, this isn't just a story about survival. It's about what survival costs. And for Charlie Hudson, that cost might be everything he used to be. Let's talk about Rex. Because honestly, this dog has more emotional range than half of TV right now, and Season 8 is setting him up to absolutely wreck us. If you thought Rex lying at the door waiting for Charlie was heartbreaking, just wait until that reunion moment hits. You already know it's coming, and the writers are going to milk it for everything it's worth. But it's not just about that one emotional scene. Rex's entire journey in Season 8 is going to be one of grief, hope, confusion, and finally healing. When Charlie disappeared, Rex didn't understand what happened. One minute his partner was there, the next minute he was gone. And for a dog like Rex, who operates on loyalty, instinct, and love, Charlie's absence wasn't just a plot twist, it was a wound. You can see it in the way he clings to Sarah, the way he listens when Mark speaks, the way his tail doesn't wag like it used to. It's the kind of storytelling that doesn't even need words, just looks, pauses, silence, and Diesel's nephews stepping in as the new Rex. They've captured that emotion beautifully. It's like you can feel the weight of loss in every quiet scene. So when Rex finally sees Charlie again, whether it's on a dock, in a hospital room, or some dramatic last-minute bust in you, already know it's going to be the emotional climax of the episode. That tail wag, that first bark, that leap, it's going to hit harder than any gunfight. But before we even get there, Rex's role in Season 8 is shaping up to be more important than ever. Because while everyone else is second-guessing or grieving, or moving on, Rex hasn't given up, he never did. He's been waiting, watching, holding on. And if Charlie has amnesia, if he comes back broken, or confused, or distant, it's not going to be Sarah or Mark who breaks through. It'll be Rex. Because sometimes, memory lives in the body and in the bond you can't explain. That's what's going to bring Charlie home. And speaking of Sarah Wu, where do we even begin? This woman has carried so much, for so long, and now she's standing at the edge of another impossible choice. Season 7 ended with her trying to keep it together, but barely hanging on. Her partner was gone, the love of her life presumed dead, her team scattered. And now, Season 8 picks up with her trying to build something from the ashes. She takes a break from work, steps away from the chaos, and tries to breathe. But it's not rest, it's survival. And that's where Mark comes in. He's supportive, present. He takes care of Rex, checks in on her, holds space when she can't hold herself. And maybe, just maybe, he starts to feel like more than a friend. But that's where it gets messy. Because Sarah never stopped loving Charlie. Not really. And deep down, she never believed he was truly gone. So now she's torn between the man who might be gone forever and the one who's here, offering her peace, stability, and something resembling a future. The trailer doesn't say it outright, but the looks between her and Mark, the lingering shots, the hesitation, yeah, it's giving unresolved tension. And if Charlie walks back into that, if he sees Sarah with someone else, especially Mark, going to break him. Not because he expects her to wait forever, but because he's been holding on to the idea of home, of her, and if that's changed, if he's lost that too, it'll undo him. And honestly, I'm not ready for that kind of heartbreak. But let's not forget the broader picture. This isn't just about romance or reunion. It's about the team. Jesse, Joe, even the new supporting officers, everyone is feeling the impact of Charlie's absence. And Season 8 looks like it's going to dig into how each of them copes. Jesse might throw himself into his work even more, using humor to cover the cracks. Joe might be grappling with guilt. Should he have sent backup? Should he have done more? And that guilt could lead to tension between him and Sarah, especially if she feels like he's not honoring Charlie's memory the way she needs him to. There's so much potential for these small character moments to explode in ways we haven't seen before. Because this team has always operated like a family, but now, with the heart missing, the fractures are showing. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Season 8 is about rebuilding not just Charlie's life, but the entire unit. Piece by piece, truth by truth, wound by wound. And don't even get me started on Jack. Charlie's brother was at the center of this storm, and now that we know more about Maria and the cartel, things are starting to make sense. Jack wasn't just running from something, he was running toward chaos. And Charlie, being Charlie, couldn't let him do it alone. But now that Jack's missing too, you have to wonder, will the story shift toward finding him next? Will Charlie's return lead the team right back into that cartel mess? And if so, what price will they have to pay this time? Because this isn't just personal now, it's criminal. And Season 8 might be the season where Hudson and Rex finally leans all the way into the high-stakes world of organized crime, undercover missions, and moral gray zones. If Charlie's return is tied to a deeper conspiracy, something he uncovered while missing, or something he's trying to protect his team from, then we're in for one hell of a ride. Season 8 Episode 1 isn't just a premiere. It's a reset button, a punch to the gut, and a love letter to every fan who refused to believe Charlie was gone. It's the beginning of a new chapter, and it's going to change everything. Now, let's talk about the theory that's keeping me up at night, because if you've been following the online buzz, then you already know fans are spiraling over what really happened to Charlie during the time he was missing. And I'm not talking about the surface level theories anymore. We're diving deep, because there's something off about how fast the police gave up, something off about how Jack and Maria just disappeared, and something very off about the way the trailer hints at Charlie's return without showing us his face. That's intentional. The writers are hiding something, and the more I think about it, the more I believe we're looking at a full-on undercover operation. Yes, I said it. What if Charlie never truly disappeared but went undercover with the cartel to protect his brother, and now he can't just walk away? It's the only theory that explains the silence, the secrecy, the total shutdown of information. Think about it, Charlie gets shot, but no body is found. He's presumed dead, but the authorities act weirdly passive. Then the trailer drops, and instead of dramatic reveals, we get quick flashes and cryptic shots. That's not a coincidence. That's a strategy. Charlie might not be missing. He might be embedded. And if that's true, then Season 8 is about to explode in ways we didn't see coming. But that theory opens up an entirely new layer of stakes, because if Charlie is undercover, then that means he's not just risking his life. He's risking his identity, his loyalty, his sanity. What happens when you live a lie for too long? What happens when you're forced to become someone else to survive? We've seen Charlie in tight spots before, but never like this. Never completely cut off. Never forced to watch his family grieve him while he plays nice with murderers. It would tear him apart, and that's the emotional arc I think we're stepping into. Not just survival, but the consequences of it. Because if Charlie has to betray the people he's trying to protect, even if it's just pretending to be someone else, it'll destroy him. And imagine the fallout. Imagine Sarah finding out that Charlie was alive the whole time and didn't tell her. Imagine Rex sensing something's wrong but not being able to understand why. Imagine Mark, who's been stepping into the spotlight, finding out that he's been living a lie, too. That he was second place in a story that was never finished. The emotional minefield this sets up, absolutely massive. And then there's the cartel. If Charlie really went undercover, then we're dealing with a new kind of enemy. Not the petty criminals we've seen in past seasons, but a network, a machine. Ruthless, organized, and everywhere. If Jack and Maria were trying to run from them and Charlie got pulled in, then Season 8 might be more than just a personal rescue mission. It could be an operation that threatens the entire team. This isn't about saving one man. It's about dismantling something much bigger and much darker. And if Charlie's stuck in the middle, pretending to be someone he's not, then every move he makes could cost lives. The tension practically writes itself. One wrong word, one suspicious glance, one moment of hesitation, and boom, everything falls apart. That's what's going to make Season 8 feel like a whole new level of storytelling. It's not just about catching the bad guy, it's about protecting what's left of yourself while playing a game you were never supposed to be part of. So here we are at the edge of what promises to be the most emotional, high-stakes season of Hudson and Rex yet. Season 8 isn't just another chapter, it's the reckoning. Everything we've built up to, every bond we've fallen in love with, every moment that made this show more than just a procedural drama, it's all coming to a head. And what makes it hit even harder is that this season is about identity, about truth, about what remains when the uniform is gone, when the mission breaks, when the people you love aren't sure who you are anymore. That's what Charlie Hudson is walking back into, if he walks back at all. And make no mistake, this won't be a triumphant return with hugs and happy endings. No, this is going to be slow, painful, and earned. And that's exactly how it should be. Because trauma doesn't vanish with a reunion. Trust isn't rebuilt with a single conversation. And real deep love has to survive not just time and distance, but the scars left behind. The trailer only gives us glimpses, but they're enough: a flicker of someone lying in a hospital bed, a tense stare from Sarah, Rex looking up, suddenly like he senses something the others can't. These aren't throwaway shots. These are the emotional breadcrumbs leading us toward a reveal that will change the DNA of this show. And maybe that's the real genius of Asterisk. Hudson and Rex Asterisk, it never just gives you the twist. It makes you feel every inch of it. It doesn't rely on shock value. It relies on loyalty, on character, on the pain of waiting, the ache of not knowing, the unbearable weight of loving someone who might not come back the same. This season is going to ask hard questions. What does healing look like when your life has been torn apart? What does justice mean when the system can't help you? What do you hold on to when you've lost everything and you're not even sure who you are anymore? Charlie's journey is no longer just about solving crimes. It's about survival. And everyone around him is going to be tested in the fallout. Sarah will have to choose between her past and her present. Mark will have to decide whether to step aside or fight for something more. Joe may have to confront his own mistakes and face consequences. Jesse will be forced to grow up, maybe too fast. And Rex will wait and believe. And love, because that's what Rex does. But the most powerful part of this whole story is that none of these characters are perfect. They're messy, they grieve, they make mistakes, they love hard, and hurt even harder. And that's what makes Hudson and Rex stand out. This show doesn't rely on flashy effects or endless plot twists. Sit relies on heart. And in season 8, that heart is going to be tested like never before. From the moment Charlie disappeared, the show took a turn. A bolder, deeper, riskier turn, and now it's time to see if all that emotional buildup can pay off. And we know it will, because the writing is sharper. The stakes are higher, and the fans, we're more ready than ever to see this story unfold. Whether Charlie is broken, hiding, or slowly remembering who he is, what matters most is that the people who love him haven't let go, and neither have we. So yes, when the season finally premieres, whether it's late 2025 or early 2026, we'll be right there. Watching, waiting, holding our breath the second Rex lifts his ears. The second Sarah turns around with tears in her eyes. The second that figure steps into frame, and we all know he's back. Not the same, not untouched, but back. And that's all we need, because this isn't just about one man. This is about a family finding their way back to each other, through pain, through silence, through everything. And that's the kind of story that stays with you long after the credits roll. Now let's throw in one more wild card. What if Charlie isn't working alone? What if someone from the team, maybe someone we trust, knows what he's doing and has been covering for him? That would explain the weird way certain characters are acting in the trailer, the hesitation, the cryptic dialogue. Maybe Joe knew something. Maybe Sarah got a coded message. Maybe even Jesse Tech Genius that he is caught a signal no one else saw. And now they've been quietly trying to protect the truth, hoping the plan would work. But here's the problem. Secrets don't stay buried. Not in this show. And when the truth finally drops, when everyone finds out that Charlie chose to vanish, chose to go silent, chose to put himself in danger without telling a soul, it's going to break something. Trust, loyalty, love, all of it. And that's the price of sacrifice. That's the emotional beating heart of season 8. But we can't ignore the quieter heartbreak either. The damage that was done while Charlie was gone. Sarah's grief isn't just something you move past. That kind of pain lingers. It changes you. And even if Charlie walks back into her life, he's not picking up where they left off. There's a space between them now filled with unanswered questions, broken promises, and time they can't get back. And if she's been finding comfort in Mark, even just as a friend, that makes everything even more complicated. Because Charlie's return doesn't automatically fix anything. In fact, it might break what little was left standing. And Rex, he might be the key to everything. He's not just a dog. He's a witness to the pain, the silence, the shift in the air. He knows who his partner is, and he knows what's missing when Charlie isn't there. So when that reunion happens, it won't be just joyful. It'll be devastating. Because Rex will recognize the man, but will he recognize the pain? And here's where it gets really intense, because if this theory is true, and Charlie is still deep in the game when episode 1 opens, then the first few episodes might not even show the full team reuniting. We might get parallel storylines, Charlie navigating cartel territory while Sarah, Rex, and the team chase shadows. That kind of structure creates unbearable tension. We'll know they're close, we'll know they're all aching for the same thing, but they'll keep missing each other, like emotional near misses. And when the reunion finally hits, it won't be clean. It'll be raw, maybe even painful, because Charlie won't be the same. And maybe that's what this whole season is about, not just finding Charlie, but learning who he's become, and deciding whether that man still fits into the world he left behind. But if you think season 8 is just about Charlie and the aftermath of his disappearance, think again, because the ripples from what happened are about to hit every character, and not everyone's going to make it out the same. Let's start with Jesse, because honestly, he's been the quiet glue holding this team together. He's the tech brain, the comic relief, the loyal little brother figure, and with Charlie gone, he's going to feel the pressure like never before. We've seen him crack jokes in the past, keep things light when things got dark, but this time is different. The trailer shows us quick flashes of him staring at his monitors with that blank look in his eyes. The kind of stare that says he's trying to hold it all together while everything he relied on is slipping away. Jesse's loyalty to Charlie has never wavered, and the guilt of not being able to track him, not being able to help, not knowing where he was or if he was suffering. That's the kind of weight that changes a man. Don't be surprised if Jesse starts pushing himself too far, digging into databases he's not supposed to touch, crossing lines that Charlie would have warned him not to cross. Because when you lose someone that important, sometimes the rules stop mattering. And Jesse's arc this season might be the one that hurts the most, not just because of what he does, but because of what it costs him emotionally. And then there's Superintendent Joe, who, on the surface, always seems calm, in control, by the book. But let's not forget, Joe isn't just a boss. He's been part of this team for years, and he's seen them rise, fall, and hold each other up in the worst moments. Losing Charlie, even just temporarily, would have rattled him to his core. But Joe is the kind of guy who doesn't show his grief with tears. He shows it by doubling down on control. So when the trailer shows Joe barking orders, demanding answers, and getting into it with someone off camera, it's not just about leadership, it's about frustration, it's about fear. It's about blaming himself for letting one of his best detectives walk into a trap. And if he did know something about Charlie's mission, if he was in on it, even partially, then the guilt becomes even more complicated. Because then he's not just a grieving superior. He's a co-conspirator. And when the truth comes out, his authority could be on the line. The team trusts Joe, but trust only goes so far when secrets start bubbling up. And I wouldn't be shocked if Season 8 forces Joe into a position where he has to choose between protecting the department and protecting his people. Meanwhile, Maria, yes, the woman at the center of this entire mess, could become the most unpredictable piece on the board. We barely saw her in Season 7, but everything about her screams unfinished business. If she's still alive, and if she had ties to the cartel that went deeper than we know, then she might be the one person who can either save Charlie or destroy him completely. And don't forget, she was close to Jack. Too close. We never got the full truth about how they met, what they were running from, or what they might have done together before the chaos started. And that kind of ambiguity means she's dangerous. Because she might not be telling the full truth even now. She might be playing both sides. And if she crosses paths with Sarah or Rex, oh, it's going to be tense. Because Sarah's not the type to forgive easily, and if she believes Maria had any part in Charlie's disappearance, you better believe that confrontation's going to burn hot. Imagine the moment when Maria tries to explain herself, and Sarah has to decide whether to trust the woman who might have taken Charlie from her, or risk losing him all over again by pushing her away. That's the kind of emotional dilemma Season 8 is setting up, and it's going to rip through every layer of this show, and all of this tension is building toward what I believe will be a major mid-season twist. The writers are setting us up for something huge, something that flips everything we think we know. Maybe Charlie comes back, but he's hiding something. Maybe Jack returns too, but he's changed. Or maybe, and this is a wild one, we find out that someone on the team has been compromised. It would be the ultimate betrayal, the thing no one saw coming. Because this show has always been about trust. Between humans, between dogs and detectives, between friends, and if one of them, just one, chose survival over loyalty, the fallout would be massive. Think about it. All it would take is one intercepted message, one deal made in desperation, one secret phone call, and suddenly the people we've rooted for are on opposite sides. That's what makes this season feel so different. It's not just about finding Charlie, it's about asking, who are we when everything we believed in is shaken? And through it all, you have Rex, our silent, soulful witness, the one who sees without judgment, who feels everything. And it's through Rex that we, the audience, experience the emotional truth. Because humans lie, they protect, they perform. But Rex knows. He smells grief. He hears pain. He recognizes betrayal. And he remembers love. That's why his scenes hit so hard, because they don't need dialogue. Just a tilt of the head, a paw on someone's lap, a soft whimper, and suddenly, you're crying on your couch. Rex is the beating heart of this show. And in Season 8, his loyalty will be the compass that leads us through the chaos. If Charlie returns broken, Rex will guide him home. If the team fractures, Rex will be the bridge. And if everything falls apart, Rex will remind them of who they are. That's the emotional anchor we're all clinging to, and when that moment comes, when Rex finally sees his partner again, it's not just going to be emotional. It's going to be unforgettable.